Good morning, my name's John. I'm from the Come Together podcast group. Today we're going to have a discussion on the pressures that we feel in recovery and the experiences that we've had in the past. Richard?
Well, I felt a bit of pressure recently. My brother lives 200 miles away, and I've relapsed several times and been sectioned again, recovering, being discharged. So every time he rings up, immediately I've got to sort of be conscious that he tells from my voice whether I've relapsed or not, whether I'm still okay, feeling positive. And I don't feel I can ever admit that if I have any problems, because I can hear his tension immediately. He's worried I'm going to have another relapse, and I've been under Section 3. So what will I do next? Which is 6 months, plus I had a period of voluntary time and had ECT. So what else is the next? ECT is the weapon of last resort for depressives. So like, what would they do next time? So there's always that hanging over me, and I feel I've got to put on a bit of a front. So I feel a bit of pressure. Also, I'm a bit of a poster boy for the ECT team because it seems to have worked, and I think I'm going to feature in a conference. So I don't want to relapse because I feel I'm letting them down, and I behaved badly at first. I violently objected to having the ECT, having the electrodes on my brain and everything. I was convinced they were going to do me harm. So I already feel guilty about putting them through it. So I want to recover for their sake as well. In the end, I think, well, I'm doing it for myself, really. I'm the most important one here. But in the end, you're sort of doing it for other people. So that's the pressure I feel.
It's interesting that you said that, Richard, because for me, I form a complex. So when I'm in a room, like last week I wasn't well whilst I was meeting with the family, and the complex came when I was thinking that they weren't thinking about me being ill, they were thinking about me being drinking. You know, people straight away, you know, I find that I feel that I'm being judged in every aspect around family, friends, who know that, yeah, I'm in recovery, but they're sort of waiting for you to fail. And I think ultimately, while someone is waiting for you to fail, it's not healthy for you, because you know, it's a negative spin on it rather than be, you know, gearing you on. And you know, for me it was like sort of, it pisses me off, you know, stop judging me because I wasn't, you know, I'm always going to be an alcoholic. And when I was in recovery for 18 months, what really riled me was I was judged on the previous 5 years, not the hard work that I put in them 18 months. People went right back to the beginning. That hurt, because actually I've worked really hard. I've attended my meetings. I've been around people in recovery, and you're not accepting it. It's, you know, it's almost like as if, should have I have bothered? You know, what do you guys think?
Well, I think it goes back to a conversation we were having earlier about bringing in professionals to help educate the family to what you're going through. It's not necessarily you requiring that professional help or you requiring that professional help, but the actual families and how you can then communicate with them, because communication is always the problem, isn't it? It always seems to be the barrier somewhere along the line is being able to actually express your feelings and in a way that you want to, rather than what they want to hear. You know, because when people, I don't know, you know, I mean, and as well, without judgments on anybody's family, but of course all families want you to be happy and to be well, but if you're not, they've also got to be able to accept. That's
I think, yeah, you know, and the other thing about it is that in my last lapse, what I'm asking people is, meet me halfway.
Yeah.
You know, okay, this is a journey, and this is an illness, and I'm fighting it the best way I can. So please don't judge.
Yeah.
Keep your comments to yourself, and keep supporting me the other half till I get back on track. And that's the the frustration of the pressure that you feel. You know, when you're first in recovery, you're really pleased at the days that you're passing by and all of that, and how much you get from that. The families don't experience that.
No.
They don't understand it. It's not their fault, but ultimately you are absorbing that. Like I just said before, that complex comes because you know, you're asking yourself, I wonder what they're thinking, you know.
Yeah.
It's just down that path for me.
Yeah.
But it is quite right in what you're saying.
You know, I often look at it from a point of view when people talk about issues around comparing mental health to something like somebody breaking a leg. You know, if somebody breaks a leg and for that reason, you know, they suddenly can't go to work or they need some help get to the loo, etc. Everybody's there. Everybody's there. Give them the support. But when it comes down to something like mental health or addiction, that understanding sometimes can go that there is a recovery. You know, just like there is with a broken leg, there is a recovery. And even if that broken leg does recover, you might have another issue around it in the future.
It's
Nobody
like
seems to accept it.
Come together, do the outreach work twice a week where we go and visit the homeless.
Yeah.
Take them a sandwich, something, we check that everything's okay and they if they need help. But ultimately, when, you know, I've spoken to people, their opinions of people on the streets, they're there because they want to be.
Yeah.
They're drug addicts, they're, you know, alcoholics, and, you know, there's no one wants to know the reason that put them there.
Yeah.
And I said, what's to say that when they become into addiction, that's the way they can only cope on the streets. You know, so don't judge them either, because we've also seen ex-soldiers on the streets.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and we witnessed that. But when you're going out doing the outreach, these are really lovely people.
Yeah.
They really are. And just because they're falling by the wayside. And I guess where I was going with that is because whilst these people in the homeless from times gone by are judged, you know, they're just alcoholics and alkies or whatever they like to call you. You know, ultimately, we in society, where we're not on the streets, are still placed in that category.
Yeah.
We might as well be.
Yeah.
In other people's eyes. And it goes back to what you were saying, it's about educating people, you know, who don't understand it, need to understand it. And sort of, if you know, if there is a family member that wants to assist another friend or family member, it is to guide them to people who can help and make both parties understand.
Yeah, get that education.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, maybe sometimes counselling should be brought into this. And I don't mean, you know, from a therapeutic point of view, but a form of counselling where the professionals can be involved with the client and with the family, where people can sit around and speak the truth.
Okay.
You know.
Well, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Please share, like. Thank you.